Welcome to The Stack Marvel Snap Edition. I am Blevins, and this week I'm joined by content creator and Gwent Masters caster, Specimen. Speci, how was TwitchCon Amsterdam?
Hey mate, yeah, great to be here. I had a brilliant time meeting people in the flesh for the first time. A lot of them. Really nice, you made those connections over Twitch through card games. All of us that were there, yeah, really nice. Especially seeing like the other people that are really close, and you see them meeting for the first time. It was great, really good time.
I always love seeing people who I've known for years, but I'm finally meeting in person for the first time. I always get a lot of, wow, you are a lot taller than I thought you were.
Oh, really? Yeah.
People think
I actually got that too
yeah.
as well, but people people think I'm very, very short. So I'm not even tall. They're like, oh, you're not actually that short. So
I'm taller than average, but people are like, I thought you were very short. But that's not what we're here to do, Speci. We're here to play a game called The Stack. The rules are quite simple. I'm going to present you with a series of statements about Marvel Snap, and you're going to decide if these statements resolve, meaning that you agree with them, or if they fizzle, meaning that you don't agree. Speci, are you ready to play?
I am so ready, mate.
All right, here we go. Marvel Snap is a competitive CCG.
I'm going to say resolve. I agree with that. There's a lot of variance going on in Marvel Snap, more so than any other card game. For example, on turn 1, you can have a location which puts a minus 0.8 card on your side of the board, and your opponent gets an 11-point card. Like in any other card game, that does not run. You're molding, you're pulling your hair out, you're slamming your desk, you're quitting, you're uninstalling. But Marvel Snap, with the cube system, I do think it's like very revolutionary in terms of the game, how it can handle variance. Because you can just fold and on to the next one, right? You lose 1 cube, and the next game you win 8.
Yeah, the ability to fold your hand makes it feel a lot more like poker, and many folks like myself are poker degenerates, and it all feels very good in a lot of ways. The economy is holding back Marvel Snap's growth.
That is a very, very good one. The economy is holding it back in its growth. I'm going to say controversial fizzle.
Ooh.
Like, I don't love the progression system. I think from a content creator point of view, I would maybe agree with it, because I want to be playing new decks every day, right? I want to be uploading new decks. So there's definitely an element where it's maybe I do agree with it like slightly, but I don't think it's definitely not the main factor. I do think the progression systems are in need to be improved, but also there's something about the system they have in place which I think is just going to keep people hooked. Like that feeling when you get that new card that you really wanted is a really good feeling, right? Like, and you're talking to your friends like, oh, I just got this card, and your friends like, oh, I want that card too. Like that element of it, I think actually is like very intelligently done, where it's going to draw people in and actually want to continue playing the game. Like while people don't like it, it's also like there's some kind of like psychology behind it, right? So I think it's not holding it back. I think they're making steps to improve it. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree?
I mean, I'm a degenerate, so I will, spend hundreds or more dollars on a game that I want to play and just get everything. And I know a lot of competitive card gamers are also like that. That's sort of become the norm over the past few years. But like, I don't have every Magic the Gathering card, right? I don't have. I actually did probably have every Hearthstone card back in the day, but it's the type of thing where I think it is definitely different from the norm that we've seen over the past, 5-10 years. But I agree with you actually that carrot is on the end of the stick, and whether that's psychology and whether that's good or bad, I'm not going to try to argue. But I find myself more invested in my progression in Marvel Snap than I do in other games where I just have everything day one because I spent a crisp $100 bill and got everything. Ego is a good location for Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I'm gonna resolve agree. I like it. Again, you've got the variant. It's like ridiculous variance, Ego. So Ego is the location which is basically playing your cards for you. And it does it very badly. It's not playing your cards in a very good order. It's playing it in the least logical order possible. Like, it's just gonna leave energy in hand. I think it usually uses all your energy, but like, let's say you've got like a 5-cost card and a 2-cost card. It's going to play the 2-cost card most likely in the worst location possible. But it's a lot of fun, isn't it? And it's all about that variance, about the snap mechanic. You see, okay, this Ego looks like it's going well for me, maybe if you've got a deck which is like relying on a lot of synergies, the Ego's not going to do so well. If you've just got something where you're just slamming points every turn with a clear curve, you're going to fancy your chances, and then you decide whether you fold or raise dependent on that. So I really like it. It's a lot of fun.
And when I see ego, I immediately snap, no
Yep.
questions asked every time.
I like that.
And if my opponent is in for the gambit, then we go on this roller coaster together and we see what happens.
No, I like
think that's
that.
the way. That is the way to play ego, but to each their own. Nerfing the most played card and buffing the least played is good balance.
Resolve, I guess. I mean, it's very, it's very generic, but I mean, kind of makes sense, right? You buff the least played card, you get rid of and eventually you'll reach somewhere where it's perfect. Probably not in practice, but yeah, I think generally speaking, that would be my general approach.
This is what I think the public generally asks for. They go, oh, good card, bad card, want to be good, make them closer. But yeah, like you said, in practice, it probably does not end up like that, because I think some cards, there needs to be good cards in the games. It doesn't necessarily have to always be horrible or unplayable cards, but there needs to be cards that are worse than others in some situations. And maybe this methodology is okay in general, as a general rule of thumb, but I definitely hope that that's not just what they're doing every single time. That's going to be
Like one example is when the game first came out, I was calling for Nightcrawler and Electric to get nerfed, because I was like, these cards are in every deck. And now, like, I look back 2 months later, and I'm like, nah, actually, especially Electra, like, no issues. But then also, like, we've seen them nerf Chavez recently, like American Chavez. I was really happy to see that nerf just by a point. She's in loads of decks, and yeah, she's still going to be in a lot of decks. But like, if a card is showing such a high play rate, the chances are it's probably overtuned, right?
Card variants are a good monetization method for Marvel Snap.
Ooh, I mean, that's the hot topic, right? Like the Battle Pass was the first kind of little view we got into some of the monetization approach, where you actually have to pay for a card. I missed out on the first season pass, which came out almost 2 months ago now, and I still don't have Wave, right?
Wow.
She's going to be in the pool, available to get like next week. But even then, it's not like I'm guaranteed to get her straight away. I think
definitely not.
from a player perspective, it's a bad approach, but from the company's logic of making money off the game, I think a ton of people are going to be buying the cards. So I think overall, I think Resolve, I think it's fine. My problem is, as soon as, like, if it's once a month, $10, and you're getting a lot of other stuff with it, I can get behind it, because I think the game's great. But then as soon as you're adding these other things like Nexus events, and you're also locking other cards behind it, that's where it's becoming too much for me. I think, like, it's already, like, $10 is already very much at the limit of what I think is acceptable per month. I'm gonna go Resolve. I think, like, the Battle Pass, but again, the Nexus events, they're clearly gonna have to change those up.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're still gonna end up having to pay money to get new cards, which I don't love overall. Like, it's a bit pay to win. I think, like, that's gonna be the concern, right? Like, if they release a card which is amazing and you're paying to win, that's where I would really take issue with it. But maybe they have some kind of competitive game mode where everyone has access to all the cards, for example, and then something like that, it wouldn't be as much of an issue for sure.
Players should be able to pick which cards they acquire.
Yes, agree, Resolve, yes. So I like the pool system a lot. I'm a really big fan. With the exception of pool 3, which I think is way too big. I think they should have chopped pool 3, like in half, in thirds. Like, I like the fact that, when the game first came out, you're playing against other people pool 1, you've all got the same kind of cards, and you slowly start unlocking the same cards. But then as soon as you hit pool 3, my friend Raven Hearthstone got Spider-Man about 2 months ago. I still ain't got it, so that feels bad. What I would like to see them do on this, where you choose your card, is implement a system very similar to something Gwent does with their packs, which is you get a choice of 3, basically. So rather than just a mystery card, you get 3 mystery cards, and you get to pick which one you actually want. So if there's a certain deck which you really want to play, whether it's a discard deck and you get a discard card in that choice of 3, bang, you're going to take it. Where if you're looking to build movement and you get offered Human Torch, which is a card I've wanted for 2 months, I've got a much better chance suddenly of getting it. So I think, like, the card acquisition system of, like, 1 card each time up to pool 2 is fine. But I think as soon as you hit pool 3, with how big it is, especially, just having, like, I think the current system I actually honestly like where you actually have to pack your cards. I think that's something I enjoy as a filthy FIFA Ultimate Team degenerate. I grew up on going down to the local shop and spending £10 to open some FIFA packs to get nothing, right? So that adrenaline rush of getting a nice card is very much something I enjoy. But yeah, a bit of agency would be nice.
Let's move on to number 7. This one comes from my personal experience. Number 7, you should always snap on turn 1 when you play against a friend.
Yes, absolutely. Resolve 100% without a shadow of a doubt. I always do it. A good friend of mine, Bane from the Gwent community, is called like Bane Juan in game. I queue into him a lot.
I played against them a lot.
Yes.
I'm assuming they're a high ranked player because they always
have.
He
is. Yeah, he finished like 7th on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I've played against them probably a dozen times.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I see him, I snap.
I don't think I'm going to do that because I feel like I have a very losing record against them because they are a very good player, but I will keep that in mind going forward.
Yeah, I had a nice moment as well with Jeff, who is another streamer. I queued into him. I insta-snapped because we were both streaming. I was like, oh, this will be a nice video. Like, I can, blend our perspectives together. He folded. I respect it so much. It couldn't have been me.
Coward.
You can be sure next time we queue into each other, I will be snapping before I even see what cards are in my hand.
Oh, 100%. It is an insta-snap. And I also, for better or for worse, I'm staying in for the 8 cubes, even if I'm dead on board.
Okay, that I like as well. That's my friend Bane definitely does that. I think I've got the edge over him, but a lot of the time it's because he should be folding, but
right.
Just play it out anyway, right?
Oh yeah, I'm staying in. I'm staying in no matter what. So, negative locations are good for the game. Resolve,
definitely. Massive fan of the negative locations, like the negative point ones, but also like Bar with No Name, for example. Yep. I'm a massive fan. Honestly, my favorite locations are ones which have negative connotations of some sort, like the ones where it's like locked down, like Sanctumorium. I play like Storm is my most used card, for example, like that kind of gameplay. And the negative points aren't quite the same, but just that general, that vibe, I'm a big fan of. There's a lot of strategy involved with that, right? Like you're more inclined to play one big card in a negative zone rather than 4 cards, right? So yeah, I'm a big fan. How about you?
I think that they're good for the game. I would definitely say resolves to this. They're not the most fun for me. I want every game to be Elysium, Cloning Vat, and like, one of the other broken ones that gives you like draw 3 cards or whatever. I want my whole deck in my hand. I want everything to cost less, and I want to double everything that I play. Like that's what I want.
Sinister London.
Sinister London is one of my favorite locations. I just like rush of endorphins every time that one shows up, just as like I'm gonna do some broken stuff. Also like Commertage, if I can double on reveal effects and stuff like that. I just tend to play those decks too. But no, from a competitive or from a good for the game standpoint, I definitely like you can't just play, windmill slam bangers every single time and just play the most powerful deck. You actually have to play strategically, and you have to build your deck strategically as well, because you can have these, you can't play on this location, or you want lower power, or everything gets -3. So definitely like them for the game. Just I want Elysium, Sinister London, and draw 3 cards every single game. But
I think Iron Man into the negative zone is a rite of passage that every Marvel Snap player has to make, right? You play the Iron Man, you're like, bro, I'm about to pop off, and then you realize, oh, damn, that's -4 points.
Yeah, when you realize that it doubles the negative, you're back in 6th grade realizing that for the first time how negative numbers and multiplication works, and boy, does the game punish you for that. Last statement, number 9, there will be a card that adds a 4th location.
Fizzle. It sounds fun, but like mobile, right? Like it's mobile first. It's not gonna work.
Oh, true.
You gotta swipe off the screen. That sounds fun though.
I don't know.
I'm well up for it. PC client only, right?
We'll see. I mean, year 5 of Marvel Snap, they may be digging into the old VODs and checking out this first episode here to get some ideas. And you know what, Ben Brode? That one's for free for you. Thank you so much for playing the stack. I hope you had a good time. Let the people know so they can get more of your content and know what and where you're doing stuff.
Yeah, mate, it was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you for having me. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Specimen. I do also upload on YouTube Marvel Snap content currently. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I think I'm going to make a second channel. So Specimen Gwen on YouTube, and then just stay tuned for that. And there's also gonna be like, I'm gonna be doing TikTok content for Snap, but basically just waiting for it to come out at this point, right? So just, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Everyone, we will see you next time on The Stack. Don't forget, you aren't losing if you're learning. See you next time.